Welcome back to my 31 days of summer barbecue. Now we have tons of barbecue recipes coming out over the next month. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss a trick and you catch every single one. Day 9, beetroot, salmon, gravalax. Let's get it. Now I know gravlax of salmon isn't your average barbecue dish. You got to kind of see it as a salad with the salmon, the radish, the bitter leaves, that stunning citrus dressing and a good hit of horseradish. It's an amazing summer dish to have around your barbecue selection. First thing is the salmon. You got to make sure it's fresh. Beautiful and firm to the touch with tiny little rivers and ribbons of that white connective tissue going through the flesh. The shorter they are, i.e. the closer they are together, the more work the salmon has done. So with wild salmon, you'll see the lines very close together, but with farmed salmon, ones that have been caught in locks and cages, they'll have their lines further apart. The muscle is less developed. Take a very sharp knife down to the board. We're gonna pry away under the skin, and then with your knife doing the work, just gently rock, holding the skin if you need to, and release the salmon from that skin. Beautiful, flayed, with the maximum amount of meat left on the flesh. We're gonna place that onto our tray. The recipe we're doing today is kind of like a gravlax. And in a gravlax, in a standard curing recipe, there are 4 or 5 main components. That's salt, sugar, white pepper, and then your flavouring. For this flavouring, we've got orange zest, lemon zest, and beetroot. We want the citrus and the punch from the lemon and orange zest, but we also want those earthy sweet tones from the beetroot to help round off and flavour this salmon properly. So we get a microplane and our orange, and we're just extracting that zest from the outside onto the lemon. We get all that beautiful pungent zest off of the fruit. Could this be grapefruit? Could this be blood orange? Could this be Buddha's hand? It could be. Grater. Take a beetroot. This is just a normal garden beetroot. I've washed it down, skin's still on. You don't have to worry about that. Onto the grater, and we're breaking it down. Now you may have noticed I'm wearing a glove for this. That's just to stop my hands turning pink. Now the beetroot's grated. We get our zest into the bowl. We pour over our sugar, good pinch of salt, and then finally the white pepper. Gives a nice heat to the salmon. With that gloved hand, straight in, and we mix and massage all those flavors together. And you'll hear it slightly coarse on the bowl. That salt and that sugar sort of grinding against it, but as it releases the juice from the beetroot and the oils from that zest, it will turn into more of a sludgy slurry, which is what we want. We want that extraction of flavor so it can be passed over to that beautiful fillet of salmon. Now back in the day, you would have had to make tons of this marinade in order to encase your salmon. Nowadays, we've got cling film. So a good sheet of that out on the bench. Don't cut it off just yet. Take a nice handful of your marinade and just create a bed on the base of that cling film for the salmon to sit on and for all those flavors to start to marinate and macerate away. Salmon goes on top, and then we continue on the other side. All that stunning flavor over every inch of that salmon. At this stage you can deglove. We fold over with the cling film, bring the top sheet over the top, then we take off. And we're just folding up really, just trying to encase and encapsulate all of that flavor into the salmon, and there you have it. This is going to go into the fridge now for about 6 hours minimum. We're going to flip it halfway over, and that salt, that sugar is going to start to draw the moisture out of the salmon and cure it, cook it, kill off the bad bacteria, and really intensify that flavor. Now with this citrus that's left over, we're going to make a beautiful, stunning, fragrant dressing, and that is super simple. Take the orange in half, and then we take the cheeks off of this lemon. Squeeze your oranges into a bowl, same with your lemons. We hit it with a pinch of salt, pinch of pepper, and then we slowly trickle in this olive oil as we whisk. And the reason we're trickling it in slowly is because we want the emulsification. We want that oil to mix up with that lemon juice and that orange juice and turn into a silky sort of liquid. It's going to be packed full of punchy flavors, and it's going to dress and finish this dish beautifully. Just get that in the fridge. Now what has the dish got so far? It's got fish, it's got depth, it's got meaty, fatty goodness in the form of that beautifully marinated beetroot salmon. We've got a touch of acidity with a round umptuousness coming from that stunning dressing. Right now we want punch, we want cream, we want dairy, we want a luxurious hit of flavor that's gonna carry this dish through. And that comes in the form of a horseradish cream. So take a really good creme fraiche, 40% fat minimum, scoop it out into a bowl with a good scoop of strong horseradish. Now horseradish isn't for the faint-hearted. It's the same sort of flavor as you get from strong mustards, but it gives kick, it gives punch, it wakes up the palate, and it's perfect for this dish. We've got to season, because that is the rules, and I don't make the rules. Take a whisk, and we're just gonna work that together. Now, because the fat concentration in that creme fraiche is so strong, you're gonna have fat bonds that have set over its time in the fridge. So when you whisk it, you disrupt those fat bonds and it goes watery. It goes a bit loose. But after a while of perseverance and a strong arm, what you'll do is you'll start to agitate those fat bonds, form them back together and whip the cream up into soft peaks. And just like that, he's done. Now this wouldn't be a salad without some sort of vegetable, some sort of leaf. And just have a look at this stuff. Absolutely banging season, crisp, colourful, bursting with flavour. We've got radicchio. This is called a mouli, a Japanese radish. Really long, you can get them bigger, fatter, smaller, but this is what you're looking for. And then these beautiful little garden radishes, breakfast radishes, and they hold bitterness, they hold freshness, they hold a crisp and a crunch. But what we're gonna do to help that along the way, get a nice bowl of ice cold water with a few cubes of ice in it, just to rest these vegetables in. Take your radicchio down to the board. We're gonna chop the bottom off. And what you do is you sort of go down this spiral of leaves that nature's made for us as you release and separate all the leaves straight into the ice, then the mouli. Peel down to create exact slices over and over again, very, very fast. So once we've got these beautiful little wafer thin discs, they go straight into the ice. Radish, same again, beautiful little slices. And finally, the breakfast radish goes to the blade as well. I do understand the process for this dish is quite laborious, but they're quick jobs when you break them down, and you can get this done over the course of 2 days. Everything we've made today will last 3 days. Now, washing off the salmon. Couple of things you need to get sorted. Ice cold water in a bowl, a cloth, somewhere to dry the salmon off, and gloves. Now we release from the cling film, lift up with 2 hands into the bowl. So we're just rubbing and releasing all of those vegetables, all of that flavour from the flesh of the fish. You end up with something that looks a little bit like this. Stick your salmon onto the board. Now if you've got a sharp chef knife, use that. I've got a carving knife, so I'm going to use this one. Take the tip of it into a pot of your water, and then just watch as that droplet of water runs down the blade. This is going to add a little non-stick layer of protection down the front of that blade. Now take your knife, long, confident strokes as you slice off this beautifully cured salmon. Now we're at the stage where we can start plating. Now if you're doing this for a load of people, you can 100% do this on a massive platter, all down the middle of the table. But as this is just for me and Gabs, we're gonna go onto one plate, and you layer these slices of salmon. They should look like little fish, deep red in color. Lay those all over the top. Now take your horseradish cream, good couple of dollops of that on the plate. Place those leaves in and around, dressing the plate lightly. Create some height off the angle of the salmon using those rigid folds from the radishes. Next up, dill all over the top, along with the mint, just to give an extra level of freshness. Good bit of sliced bread. Brown bread's lovely. Put that onto your board. Last little whisk of your dressing as you spoon that golden goodness all over the top. And that's it, on a board, on a plate, in the sun, with friends, sharing style. This could be adapted for a barbecue dinner, a beautiful little starter to wake up the palate. Introduction of fish, introduction of beetroot, citrus, those classic flavors remodeled in a way that will make the guests at your barbecue, your family and your loved ones absolutely love dining with you. It's rich, it's shiny, it's inviting. The beetroot, the sweetness, the hit of that citrus working in unison with the salt and sugar, encapsulating that salmon and drawing out the best flavors of it, with the radish, the radicchio, the bitterness, the freshness, all encased in that stunning golden citrus dressing. That's day 9 of my barbecue series done. Beetroot cured salmon, radishes, dill, and a punch of citrus. Thank you.